You know, it used to be mountains of paperwork, right? Now it's like digital mountains of PDFs just there on our desktops, and we just click open, assuming, it's fine, it's safe.
Right. Just another day at the digital office.
Exactly. But just like everything else in this wonderful world of ones and zeros, there can be some, shall we say, vulnerabilities lurking beneath that
Oh,
surface.
there are always vulnerability.
Always. And you, our amazing listeners, sent us some info about one that caught your eye, something called a Foxit PDF Reader vulnerability. And let me tell you, this one's, well, it's a bit of a doozy.
It is. It really is.
So let's dive right in, shall we?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, so for this deep dive, we're going deep into the world of digital documents and the software we use to wrangle them. Specifically, we're looking at Foxit Reader and a rather nasty security flaw that's been uncovered.
Yeah, we're talking about CVE 2024-2888. Catchy name, right?
Definitely one for the bingo cards.
Right. But in all seriousness, it's a memory corruption flaw in Foxit, and it's got a CVSS score of 8.8.
Okay, so two things I got to stop you on there. First up, memory corruption. For those of us who don't speak fluent tech, break that down for us. What does that even mean?
So imagine someone scrambling data in your computer's RAM, right? That space where your computer actively works on information.
Like the computer's workbench, basically.
Exactly. It's like mixing up all the ingredients in a recipe before you even turn on the oven.
Oh, that's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. Not great for your computer's stability, to say the least.
Okay, so not good. Got it. And then you hit us with that CBSS score of 8.8. That's not a good number, is it?
Not good at all.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being a 5-alarm fire, this one's dangerously close. It means this vulnerability is pretty easy to exploit, and it could cause some serious damage.
So yeah, we're talking at a potential dumpster fire for your computer if you're running a vulnerable version of Foxit. And the worst part is, the scenarios where this vulnerability can be exploited are, well, they're pretty much everyday things for most of us.
Oh, absolutely. It's scary how common these scenarios are. 1, opening a malicious PDF file. I mean, let's face it, we've all done it at some point. You see an attachment, maybe it's the report you're expecting, you click it, boom.
Right, because who actually reads the entire file name before clicking, right?
Exactly. Or say you're using Foxit's browser extension. Again, very common. You're on a website, maybe not even a shady one, and suddenly you're vulnerable.
So it's not like some obscure attack vector that only like super techie people need to worry about.
Ooh, this one's got mass appeal for the bad guys.
Fantastic, just what we like to hear. So how about we, dig into the how of this whole thing? I mean, the sources mention this use after free vulnerability, and honestly, it sounds kind of, well, simple.
Deceptively simple.
Right.
It's like imagine you've got all your tools laid out, right?
Yeah.
You're doing some DIY. You're done with the hammer, so you put it back in the toolbox. But then the system tries to use that hammer again, even though it's put away. That's essentially what's happening here.
Okay, that's a really good analogy. So walk us through how that actually plays out in Foxit.
Sure. In this case, it's related to how Foxit handles those innocent-looking checkbox fields, the ones we click all the time in forms, and how it interacts with JavaScript. Apparently, there's a way to manipulate these elements to trigger this flaw.
So it's not about the checkbox itself being inherently dangerous, but rather how the program is coded to deal with it. That's where the weakness lies.
Precisely. And, this whole Foxit situation, it really throws a spotlight on a bigger issue. As software gets more complex, with more features, more lines of code, it becomes exponentially harder to spot and fix every single potential vulnerability.
It's like trying to find a needle in a digital haystack, right?
Exactly. It's a constant cat and mouse game between developers and those trying to exploit these vulnerabilities.
Which brings us to the part of our show where we, try to be helpful. So, dear listeners, what can you actually do to protect yourselves from this Foxit vulnerability?
First and foremost, check your Foxit version, like right now. If you're not running the latest version, stop what you're doing, go update, and then come back and finish listening. Okay. The patched versions are 2024.3 and 13.1.4.
Serious updates, people. They're not just for new emojis.
Seriously. And then beyond that, it's just good cybersecurity hygiene in general, right? Be cautious with PDFs from unknown sources. Take that extra second to actually look at those links before you click them. Think before you click. And for goodness sake, keep your security software updated.
All the updates, all the time. They're like the digital vitamins that keep your computer healthy.
I like that. I might steal that.
Feel free. So basically, stay vigilant out there in the digital world, folks. And, it really makes you wonder, If something as seemingly innocuous as a checkbox can have this kind of vulnerability, what else might be lurking in the software we use every single day?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really underscores the fact that we can never become complacent when it comes to digital security.
Something to ponder, right? Well, on that cheerful note, this has been another deep dive, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.
Stay safe out there.